आज हमने सूरह आराफ पढ़ी है और सूरह अनफाल पढ़ी. सूरह आराफ talks about previous prophets and then talks about Shani Nabuwat, Shani Risalat, Sarkar do Alam sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and his maqam is the highest among all the prophets. Allah starts off Surah Araf with takhliq, that Allah created everything. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ صَوَّرْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ, Adam alayhi salam story. And then after mentioning Jannat Jahannam, because Adam alayhi salam is beginning and Jannat Jahannam is ending. When Allah mentions Mabda, He mentions Ma'ad as well, beginning, ending. So He mentioned our beginning and then He mentioned our ending, Jannat Jahannam as well. How Jahannamis will fare in Jahannam, fighting with one another, cursing with one another, and how Jannatis will be reclining on sofas and rejoicing and in luxury and merrymaking. Their hearts will be cleaned and purified, and they will be like brothers with one another, enjoying, visiting one another, going to one another's Jannat, eating food, fruits, drinks, enjoying all the luxuries of Jannat. Allah mentions that. And then Allah also says that Jahannamis will say, can you give us some water, please? Something to eat, please. But Jannatis will say, sorry, Inna Allah harramahuma ala al-kafirin. Allah has made Jannat's food and drink haram on the disbelievers. الَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا دِينَهُمْ لَهْوًا وَلَعِبًا وَغَرَّتْهُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. Because their religion was just merrymaking and games and playing pursuits. So this is why Allah made Jannat haram upon them. In dunya, they used to rejoice, make fun, laugh, and enjoy in luxuries. That's why Allah said, nothing for you over here. Then after لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا, Allah mentions Nuh alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, Saleh alayhi salam, Lut alayhi salam, Shuaib alayhi salam, and then Musa and Fir'aun, Musa alayhi salam, Harun alayhi salam. When all these Paighambar, their stories, what happened between them and their people, Allah Pak mentions that. And then Allah comes on to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Allah, Ajib Shan, Allah mentions about our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. الذين يتبعون الرسول النبي الأمي الذي يجدونه مكتوبا عندهم في التوراة والإنجيل. That Rasul who is Nabi, who is Ummi, who is mentioned in Tawrat and Injil. يأمرهم بالمعروف وينهاهم عن المنكر. He tells them to do good and stops them from doing bad. ويحل لهم الطيبات ويحرم عليهم الخبائث. He legalizes for them the tayyibat and good and wholesome things, and forbids for them the khabith and filthy and haram things. ويضع عنهم إصرهم ويضع عنهم إصرهم والأغلال التي كانت عليهم. And he removes from them those strict and hard ahkam which were on the previous nations before them. فالذين آمنوا به وعزروه ونصروه واتبعوا النور الذي أنزل معه أولئك هم المفلحون. Those who believe in him, follow that nur which was sent down with him, meaning Quran Sharif, they are the successful ones. Then Allah said, قل, say, O my beloved Muhammad, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, inni Rasulullahi ilaykum jami'a. I am Allah's Rasul to you, all of you. الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض, to whom belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. لا إله إلا هو, no God besides He. يحيي ويميت, He gives life and He gives death. فآمنوا بالله ورسوله النبي الأمي الذي يؤمن بالله وكلماته واتبعوه لعلكم تهتدون. So believe in Allah and believe in His Rasul, who is Nabi, again who is Ummi, who is unschooled, who himself believes in Allah and who himself believes in the kalimat of Allah, and follow this Nabi so that you may be rightly guided. You see, with regards to other prophets, Allah never praised them in this manner. Allah just mentioned their stories. But here, Allah is praising Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in an ajib manner. Rasul, Nabi, Ummi. The other prophets were not ummi. This prophet was ummi. They could read and write. He could not read and write. He never went to school. He never studied under anyone. And he was not educated, but he was the educator of all educators. He was the teacher of all teachers. Look at the Quran he brought from Allah. Look at the hadith which came out of his mouth. 40,000 ahadith, 50,000 ahadith. In Musnad Ahmad, 30,000 ahadith. Can you find anybody's quotes in this amount? Not even a fraction. 1400 years have gone, but those ahadith are still mahfuz and protected. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved this Nabi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him and protected his hadith and protected everything that was connected to him. This is the shan of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why we need to remember our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We need to follow his sunnah. We need to adapt his lifestyle. We need to be like him, look like him, emulate him, copy him, dress like him, behave like him, have manners like his. And if we do this, follow his sunnah, we need to pray namaz like him. We need to pray tahajjud like he used to. We need to pray Taraweeh like he used to. We need to pray Quran like he used to pray Quran. Read lots of Quran in Ramazan Mubarak. This is what he used to do. If we follow him, all this is sunnah. Not just one or two sunnahs, his whole life. We follow him, then we are successful. So this is why we also need to remember him, love him, and when we love him, we send Durood Sharif to him. Will you read Durood Sharif, inshallah? Read as much Durood Sharif as you can. When you read Durood Sharif, you get closer to him. When you get closer to him, he gets closer to you. And when he gets closer to you, he comes in your dreams. You can see him in your dreams. He advises you. He makes du'as for you. And he's very kind and very merciful. He is rahmatul lil alameen. He's Ra'ufun bil mu'minina Ra'ufur Rahim, Allah said. So, especially on this Friday night, we need to remember him and spend some time in Durood Sharif. Now I will call Maulana Safwan Sahab. He will give some more advice about Durood Sharif, and then he will read the 40 Durood Sharif, then close the lights, and for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, read Durood Sharif, inshallah. Maybe a little bit of zikr as well. So our Durood Sharif Majlis is continuing. It does not stop. ठीक है जी? आइए मौलाना सफवान साहब. Allah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. My dear respected brothers, first of all, don't worry, it's only going to be a few minutes. Everyone's in a rush, mashallah. 5-10 minutes, no worry, inshallah. So my dear brothers, we are going through a very blessed month. This is a very special time. Sometimes because Allah Ta'ala has blessed us with 10, 15, 20, 30 Ramadan, we forget the value of this month. This month is very precious, my dear brothers. It's so precious that before Ramadan would arrive, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would gather the Sahaba and he would say to them that a big, special, great month is about to come. And he would tell them the rewards beforehand. That the month in Ramadan, one good deed you do, one fard act you do is multiplied by 70. You do a nafil act and you get a reward of a fard act. And to appreciate this, imagine someone's all his fard namaz on one side and one fard on one side. The fard is more valuable than all nafils put together. From this we also understand, my dear brothers, we should never miss a fard namaz. Never miss it on time. If we fall asleep one day, we miss fajr, then as soon as we wake up, we shouldn't think, I'll do wuzu later, I'll go back to sleep, it's qaza, I did already. No, immediately we should do wuzu and we should pray our fajr namaz, or whichever namaz we've missed due to laziness or sleep, etc. But never miss a fard namaz. My dear respected brothers, this is a very, very special time. You know, in worldly things, you know, businessmen, when they have a season, like December, Christmas time, when the sales go up, then businessmen, they will value every moment, every day, every hour, every second of the business. They will not miss it for anything. You know, one of my uncles has got mashallah business, I'm mentioning him. But even if it's a family wedding, he'll say, I can't come. It's a Saturday. I can't miss it. It's my busiest day. I have to make the most of this day. So my dear brothers, this is the case with world. So imagine this is the month. Lootne ka zamana, as they say. This is the month where we can get so much reward. Every second is valuable. So we shouldn't waste our time on mobile phones, on watching YouTube videos, on games. We should use our brains. Like this much reward, this much mercy. One scholar, Maulana Sulaiman Qattani, mentioned that at the iftari time, every day, Allah Ta'ala forgives 1 million people. 1 million. And we're there on our mobiles wasting time. Or worried about our kajur and samosa and pakore. Where's my samosa? And here Allah's mercy is descending and we're looking for the samosa. So my dear brothers, and on the last day of Ramadan, the amount that Allah has forgiven throughout the 28, 29 days, the equivalent Allah forgives on the last day. So this month is amazing. My dear brothers, Mufti Taqi Sahab just mentioned his 4 advices he gives us. I'm finished inshallah. He says that you should do 4 things in this month. He said one of the things is we lax. When it comes to nafil namaz, we lax. Tahajjud, we normally normal days outside Ramadan, we're lazy. We don't wake up for tahajjud. Some people, mashallah, do, but most of us don't. He said we're going to wake up for sahiri anyway, so wake up half an hour at least before. And at least pray 8 rakats. Normally Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was 8 rakats, 12 rakats. So at least pray 8 rakats. Try and make a lengthy qiyam. The scholars say if you make lengthy qiyam, you get more reward. And also, if you stand in this world in lengthy salah, then the standing on the day of judgment will be made easy for you. That's going to be 50,000 days that one day. Equivalent to 50,000 days of this world. 50,000 years, sorry. Miqdaruhu khamsina alf sana. 50,000 years that one day of judgment is going to be. So if you want that day to be easy, then stand in the salah, the tahajjud time. Also, other nafil salah, try and pray. If you can't stay awake for sunrise, because normally we go to sleep early because we pray fajr early, then when you wake up for work, just pray 2 rakats, 4 rakats, ishraq. Get that done as well, inshallah. And the other namaz, he says, awabin. This is another time we find struggle. Because after Maghrib, everyone wants to go home. Food's ready. Mama's put everything ready for us. Just 6 rakats. How long does it take? We all know the reward. You pray awabin, you can pray 2 rakats sunnah and then 6 rakats ideally. Or you can pray 2 rakats and make intention of awabin in the sunnahs and just pray 4 rakats after, 2. Awabin is between 6 and 20 you can pray. You pray 6 rakats awabin, the hadith says you get a reward of 12 years worship. So Mufti Taqi Sahab says, try and pray these 6 rakats of awabin as well. So whoever, we're not very punctual with these nafil namaz, tahajjud, etc. In Ramadan at least, we should be punctual. That's number 1 advice. Second advice he gives is Quran recitation. He says that this month has a very special connection with the Quran Sharif. So we should recite as much Quran as we can. We should be competing with one another in the family, in the house. How much Quran have you read? How much have I read? And also, if someone is struggling and can't recite Quran properly, it doesn't matter how old they are, they should go to someone who is an expert who can read Quran properly, tajweed properly, and correct their Quran Sharif. And if someone can't recite Quran Sharif and he's doing well, then he should try and maybe memorize more Quran Sharif if he's not Hafiz. Mushaykh Ibn Hanif Sahib mentioned once that he went to this jalsa and it was all boys become Hafiz. And then there was a 75-year-old sat there, become Hafiz. After the jalsa, he said, 75, mashallah, aapne Hafiz kar liya? He said, yeah, I was retired. I was at home. I said, why not? I've got more time now, I'll give it a shot. He said, it took me 8-9 years. Alhamdulillah, finished. And then 6 months later, Sheikh Hanif Sahib found out that he passed away. And he went to that place and then he said 11 or 12 people saw him in a dream, in a nice place, comfortable, flowers around him, nice. Asked him, what happened to you? He said, Allah forgave me. Why did Allah forgive you? I became Hafiz of the Quran. Imagine that. He did it at the end. He became a Hafiz. I took him to Jannah. So it doesn't matter how old you are. If you can't become full Hafiz, learn Yasin by heart. The benefit of this is, then when you come to Fajr namaz on the way, you can pray Yasin. On the way after Isha, you want to pray Surah Mulk at night. We should pray Surah Mulk every night. Even in Ramadan, we should pray. This is a surah which protects you from the punishment of the grave. So on the way home, you can pray by heart if you know Surah Mulk. So at least learn these surahs, Surah Kahf. If you can't become the Hafiz of the full Quran, at least start with these surahs, inshallah. So that's second advice. The first one was pray the nafil namaz that we know normally throughout the year. The second was to pray Quran. The third is do zikr. Do as much zikr as you can. Whilst you're walking, third kalima, he says, pray third kalima as much as you can. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Pray this third kalima as much as you can, walking, talking, when you're in a car, when you're driving, going to work, pray third kalima. And another one, obviously, we have this Dhikr Majlis, pray also Dhikr Sharif. With regards to zikr, Mufti Mahmud Badoli, he came here a few years ago, and he said a very nice poem in Urdu. I don't know if I can remember it, I'll try and, I might get it wrong. He said, it's gone from my head now, subhanallah. Anyway, he said a very nice poetry about zikr. So we should try and do as much zikr as we can. And the second advice, Mufti Taqi Sahab said, third advice, carrying on with zikr, is Dhikr Sharif. Try and pray as much Dhikr Sharif as we can. We all know the rewards of Dhikr Sharif. Dr. Abdul Hayy Arifi Rahmatullahi, who's a sheikh of Mufti Taqi Sahab, he says that, you know, in the life of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if someone gave him a gift, then in return, he would give them a gift as well. This is a sunnah. He says, even though now Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is gone, our aqidah is that he's still alive in his grave. So even today, if we pay Durood Sharif, in a sense, it's giving a gift to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in giving and sending Durood Sharif upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in giving that gift, he will give us a gift. And what would the gift be? He'll make dua for us. So Dr. Abdul Harifi rahmatullah used to say that when I get ill, when I have problems, I increase my Durood Sharif. Why? Because inshallah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will make dua for me. So my dear brothers, third advice is do zikr, lots of zikr in this month. And the fourth advice is make dua. Duas are accepted in this time. Sahih time, make dua. Iftar time, duas are accepted like we just mentioned. So try and make as much dua as you can. Make dua for ourselves, our family. We should make dua that we die with iman. My dear brothers, Maulana mentioned the story the other day. And Hazrat, I heard our Hazrat mention the story as well. That person who gave azan for 40 years. Muezzin. Amazing. How much reward you get for a muezzin. 40 years. At the time of his death, he said, "Give me the Quran," and he said, "I don't believe in this anymore." Choked it. And the reason was he used to belittle other people. He used to think he was very special. So at the point of death, he lost his iman. That's why we should dua that we die with iman. We should dua for our children. And Hazrat Maulana Bilal Sahib always tells us, do dua for our nasl, our lineage till the day of judgment, that they have iman and they die with iman. So we should make this dua at the time of iftar, or any time we make dua, we should make this dua. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَدُنكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَّابُ يَا مُقَلِّبَ الْقُلُوبِ ثَبِّتْ قُلُوبَنَا عَلَى دِينِكَ. Iftar time, we should read Quran, we should do Durood Sharif. From Asr till Maghrib, make it Durood Sharif. On a Friday, just Durood Sharif time. If you saw in our Sheikh Yunus rahmatullah alayhi's majlis, we'd sit there with him, around him, every few minutes, Durood Sharif. Or just sit quietly, pray Durood Sharif. 10 minutes later, pray Durood Sharif. We saw someone just sat there, pray Durood Sharif. That's how these people, they knew the value of Durood Sharif. That's why they would encourage this. So after us, even in Ramadan, before Iftar time, we should open Hizbul Azam. Hizbul Azam has sunnat duas. Pray these sunnat duas and then make dua with, raise your hands and make dua from the heart. And pray to Allah Ta'ala for ourselves, from family members, and make dua for all the Muslims that are suffering around the world, especially those in Gaza, in Sudan, these countries we don't even hear of, where Muslims are being persecuted, annihilated, starving without any food. Make dua for them. So these four advice of Muftaqi Sahib, inshallah, we keep them in mind. Inshallah, we'll recite the 40 Durood Sharif, and then we'll have 5-10 minutes of Durood Majlis, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سر القرآن سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى سلام على المرسلين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وانزل لهم مقرب عندك. اللهم رب هذه الدعوه القائمه والصلاه النافعه للسلام محمد ورضواني لله رزق بعده وبدا. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وسائر المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد وارحم محمدا وعلى محمد كما صليت وباركت ورحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وازواجه وذريته كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وازواجه وذريته كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ازواجه وذريته كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ازواجه وذريته كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وازواجه امهات المؤمنين وذريته وال بيته كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وترحم على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما ترحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم ترحم على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما ترحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم تحنن على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما تحننت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما سلمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك وسلم على محمد وعلى ال محمد وارحم محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت وباركت وترحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك كما صليت على ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ال ابراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد بالامي وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد بالامي كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الامي وعلى ال محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد صلاة تكون لك رضا وله جزاء ولحقه اداء واعطه الوسيله والفضيله والمقام المحمود الذي وعدته واجزه عنا ما هو اله واجزه افضل ما جازيت نبيا عن قومه ورسولا امته وصل على جميع اخوانه من النبيين الصالحين يا ارحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل علينا معهم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل بيته كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك علينا معهم صلوات الله وصلوات المؤمنين على محمد نبي أمي. اللهم اجعل صلواتك ورحمتك وبركاتك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما جعلتها على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وصلى الله على النبي الأمي. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات والسلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات الطيبات والصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات لله طيبات والصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات المباركات والصلوات الطيبات لله. سلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله بالله تحيات الله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أسأل الله الجنة وأعوذ بالله من النار. التحيات الزاكيات لله طيبات والصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله بالله خير أسماء تحيات طيبات والصلوات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. اللهم اغفر لي واهدني. التحيات الطيبات والصلوات من كل الله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله تحيات الله الصلوات لله الزكاة لله. السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. شهدت أن لا إله إلا الله وشهدت أن محمدا رسول الله. التحيات الطيبات والصلوات الزكاة لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الطيبات والصلوات الزكاة لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا الله ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات لله الصلوات الطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. بسم الله والسلام على رسول الله.